With the rise of the digital era, we have seen the growing trend of physical games being less and less popular. The reason behind it is simple. There's an innate cost to making a physical game. That is because there's an innate cost of making the box, of getting the printing on the box, or the paper that you printed on and then slide it into the box, and then an innate cost of minting a CD, and then a lot of game companies also print their logos or their image onto the CD itself. So there's a lot of cost associated with physical drives, physical CDs, or physical DVDs or Blu-rays. There's a lot of cost behind that. So it's no wonder that uh, as time has progressed and as internet has gotten better and better over the years, we have seen video game companies go for digital games over physical ones. Now, this is all fine and dandy until you realize that there's a huge difference between having a digital copy of a game and having a physical copy of the game, primarily because you do not actually have a digital copy of the game. What you have is a license to play the game. Now, this is a very big distinction, and this is a legal distinction as well as a reality check. Because if you think about what that means, is that you don't own anything. You don't own the license. You do not own the copy of the game. All you own, all you have is basically permission to use something. So it's essentially the same thing as me inviting over a friend and letting him play on my PC, and then whenever I want, I can just kick him out of my house. That's the same thing. All right. Now, why does this matter? It matters because of what Ubisoft has done. Ubisoft has taken down The Crew, and it's not that they've just taken it down from the storefronts and everything. They've removed it from people's libraries. So if they even figured out a way to circumvent the servers not being available, they still cannot play the game. They cannot download the game because the game that they paid for is just gone. It's disappeared. And that is actually legal. Ubisoft has all the legal right to do so because they just sold you a license. They sold you a license. In all the contract agreements that you sign, the end user license agreement, if people actually sit down and read them, you will realize that in the agreement itself, it says that Ubisoft or any other company for that matter can unilaterally revoke the license, and you can basically just cry about it. So this has caused quite the stir, as it should, and I am not one for controversy. Instead, I am one who likes to look at possible solutions to problems. So let's look at a solution to this problem. Why do we first of all need a license? Why can't we just download the game and play it? Well, we need a license so that Ubisoft or any other developer for that matter can certify that we actually bought the game. That's the digital rights management, DRM. That's why we need a license, right? So there's a way to circumvent that. Well, not really circumvent that, but there's a better alternative to it. And that alternative is, and hear me out, NFTs. Now, I know the moment I said those three gosh darn letters, a lot of people have really gotten up in arms and are about to burn down my house because I've pretty much done the unthinkable, unforgivable. I've suggested that video games be NFTs. And I want you to chill out for a second and hear me out. NFTs are not images. NFTs are not digital assets. NFTs are nothing more than a number. It is a very complicated number. It is a very long number. It is a unique number. But at the end of the day, it is a number. All right? So, why is that important? Why is this distinction important? Well, it's a number that you can attach to anything. It's basically the same thing as a national identity number, which you can attach to people. But instead of people, you are attaching this NFT number to video games or images, and then you sell those images. Well, you don't even sell the image itself, you sell the token of that image, which is then linked to an image, and therefore you have the rights to that image. It's a very complicated mess, and it's basically how currency works. Your currency itself has no value. It's paper money has no value more than the paper and the ink itself, but it is attached to a promise. It is attached to gold. If you go to a bank, you can exchange that for gold, and that's how it gets its value. Anyway, so NFTs are just numbers. They can be attached to anything, and what I believe we should do is we should start the system of attaching NFTs to video games. Now this, we don't need to do this right away. What we should do is maybe a few games at start, and we also sell licenses, but we also give you the option to buy it as an NFT. Now why is that beneficial? Well, first things first, NFTs are unique, so you can uniquely identify whether or not this person has bought the game by looking at their blockchain wallet. Right? Then the next thing, you can also sell NFTs. So if I bought an NFT from Ubisoft, I can then sell that NFT to another person for more price, for less price. That's my business, but I can actually sell that NFT again. And that therein is where the problem lies. This is going to be the biggest hurdle for us, for the community, because it's actually good for us. NFTs, if we actually implement this in the way that I want them to be implemented, will mimic the behavior of physical games. This way we can own digital copies of the game, unlike just having licenses to play. But this will mean that a lot of people who would have, well, not a lot, but some people who would have bought the game will will not buy the game from Ubisoft. Instead, they will buy the game from somebody else, maybe their friend, because that friend will give it to them for cheaper. And that will make it harder to sell this idea to game developers, because they make a lot of money from licenses. They can revoke them unilaterally, and they can just tell the consumer to get bent whenever they want. But if we use NFTs, we can make this situation pro-consumer. And I think, considering that the European Union is very pro-consumer, there is a chance, it's a very slim chance, but there is a chance that this could actually end up happening. And I honestly want it to happen. I cannot wait for the day where we can resell our digital copies of the game, where we own the digital copy of the game. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.